Hello, Ken. Hope everybody's doing well. This is my pregame analysis for the Michigan Wolverines versus Rutgers Scarlet Knights upcoming game. Before I get into it too much, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification down below. I greatly appreciate it. Where do we begin? I think Michigan's going to win. I think Michigan is going to win by 14. They are playing at home. It's always helpful. I think the crowd has been pretty impactful so far, and I expect more of the same in this one. I'm going to predict for this game that Michigan will rush for over 300 yards again as a team. So I expect a lot more of what we've already seen. I expect a lot of the run game. I expect the run game to be successful. And yeah, so I will go through the position groups a little bit about mostly what I want to see and potentially where some concerns are. I'll probably be hitting on some of the same topics I've hit on before because, excuse me, quite frankly, Michigan hasn't done what they need to do to clean it up. So I'm going to keep pointing it out until they do. Let's start with the quarterbacks, Kade Mcnamara in particular. At some point, I know it's not being asked of him, but even on the passing plays, you got to show me a little bit more. I don't know if he's just out of rhythm with his wide receivers, if they're still trying to adjust to the loss of Ronnie Bell. Not really sure what the issue is there, but it's been a lot of safe passes, been a lot of underneath passes. It's been like 9 of 11, for like 77 yards at the end of a game. So yeah, you're completing a lot of passes, but at some point, you've got to show that you can hit a deep ball every now and then. They did hit one to Cornelius Johnson in the last game, but obviously they weren't playing against a very good team. So take that for what it's worth. I know he's capable. I don't know if he's just not looking for it or doesn't feel comfortable doing it. I know not a lot's being asked of him right now, but I would like to see that. It is a little bit of a concern that we're unable to push the ball down the field at all, and we're not even trying in some of these matchups. So at some point this season, you're going to have to do that. And I would prefer that you work on it now in games that you theoretically should win anyway. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Other than that, continue to take care of the football. I thought he's done a good job of not turning the ball over. That's always very important. He's just done a good job of managing the game. So that should be your minimum. Let's make that your baseline, is being the game manager, taking care of the football, getting guys lined up, making sure everybody's in the huddle, being the solid leader that you are. Do all those things. And then the next step forward is, prove you can hit that deep ball more consistently, make some splash plays, be a little bit more of a playmaker. So that's what I want to see out of them. The wide receiver is basically the same thing. Continue to run block well. That's the most important thing for this offense. That's clearly the strategy they're going with this year. Everybody seems to have bought in, so just stick with it. Stay with it. Don't give up on it. Continue to block. And know that those big pass plays, excuse me, I can't talk. Big pass plays are coming. They're going to have to. At some point when the competition gets tougher, and you'll see real quick against Wisconsin, who has, I think, the top-rated rushing defense right now. That's going to be an interesting matchup, but I don't want to touch on that too much. That's for next week. But just know that as a wide receiver group, that those plays are going to be coming your way eventually. They're going to have to. Somebody's going to step up and find a way to stop or slow down Michigan's run game, and then they're going to have to throw the ball. So be ready when that time comes. That means beating your man out when you get a one-on-one matchup. Win that. Even if the ball doesn't come to you, win that matchup. So that the next time you come out, you're confident that you can win the matchup against the next corner you're going to face. It's all about building confidence right now and rhythm with your quarterback. So just continue to execute your routes, your route tree, and everything else should fall into place eventually, hopefully. Tight ends, same thing, really. Continue to block. I thought the tight end group has really done a phenomenal job in the run blocking. And just continue to be available when your number is called in the passing game. Kade Mcnamara likes to look for his tight ends, and they've done a good job so far of being available, finding a way to get open. Continue to do that and continue to build on that. And I think you'll continue to get more and more of those plays develop more often in the passing game. Offensive line. I feel like the offensive line has really been the strength of Michigan right now. You could say running back. I couldn't fault you for that. It's kind of a toss-up between those two. But I feel like the offensive line's run blocking has just been phenomenal to this point. The pass blocking has also been pretty good. Again, not that they've been asked to do it a lot, but when they have been called on to do so, they've kept McNamara pretty clean. There was a few times in the Washington game where there was some pressure. Washington, for as much as they struggled early on in the season, they have a really good defense. So it was a bit of a back and forth battle. I expect that in some of these games, but just continue to play well as a unit, continue to communicate with each other, and they should continue to improve their chemistry as a unit, which I believe is very important and sometimes not talked about enough for an offensive line. That's why injuries hurt so much on your offensive line, because you lose some of that chemistry. And when teams are bringing blitzes from all over the place, and they're delayed blitzes, and it's communication and chemistry and having just that feel for your teammates, your fellow offensive linemen, it's very important. Sometimes not talked about enough. So continue to build on that, and this unit should get even better before the year's over. Running backs, I don't really have anything to say about the running backs. Continue to do what you're doing because you look awesome. Blake Corum's been actually surprising in that he's actually lived up to the preseason hype, which the last, 10 years hasn't really happened at Michigan. There's always been that one guy talked about it. Oh, he's going to be great. He's going to be the next so-and-so. Everybody's heard that hype. Blake Corum's actually living up to the hype, and that's really awesome for a change. So, just continue to do that. Hassan Haskins, continue to be solid. You're not going to get all the accolades that Blake Corum is getting, but everything Hassan Haskins does is crucial for this offense to be successful. He's going to have to accept the fact that he's going to be the unsung hero this year. He's going to be the glue that makes the whole thing go, because as much as Blake Corum has been great, it's Hassan Haskins continuing to just battering ram the defense that really allows things to open up for Corum. For an offense that is as one-dimensional as Michigan has been so far, it's a little bit surprising to me that defenses haven't found a way to stop their run game, but a lot of that is because of Hassan Haskins. I know he's not anybody's sexiest pick. He doesn't make big plays, but trying to bring enough guys into the box to stop him from getting positive yards has proven impossible to this point. He gets at least 3 yards on every carry because the first guy that's there rarely brings him down. And even if he does, it's after Hassan Haskins has dragged him for a couple yards additional. So, as much as he might be untalked about, he really is, in my opinion, the unsung hero of this offense, because his ability to abuse the defense really helps open things up for Corum. Because not only is the defense slowly getting worn down by the offensive line and the punishment that Hassan Haskins delivers out because he's a violent runner, but also because they're starting to, I think the defense gets a little bit hesitant because they know that running back's going to come over here and he's going to truck me. So I'm not really excited about going and trying to tackle him because, he's going to throw a shoulder into me. And sometimes that can bleed over into, even if they're trying to tackle Corum. Because then you just get that hesitancy kind of takes over, and regardless of the running back, now you're just hesitant to go in and make a tackle because you don't like getting hit. The running back, Hassan Haskins, is throwing out some abuse. He's not afraid to throw his body into somebody to pick up a couple extra yards. I think he's proven that time and time again, and his vision has been pretty good. His timing is good. His patience is good. So, yeah, he lacks the explosiveness of Blake Corum, but to me, Hassan Haskins has been the unsung hero so far. Everything he does helps open everything else up for Blake Corum, and I feel like he's done a wonderful job. So I sing his praises a little bit. Give him a little bit of love because he hasn't got much so far. I know all the attention's on Corum, but do not forget about Haskins. Very, very important for this offense. Defense. Defensive line has been stellar. I would like to see somebody other than Aiden Hutchinson start to flash some plays, maybe another pass rusher, but also the defensive line is doing a good enough job of eating up enough blockers to allow Aiden Hutchinson to make those plays. I honestly haven't seen, part of it is Mike McDonald's scheme, who I'll get to in a little bit on the coaching aspect of things, but part of the reason why Aiden Hutchinson's been able to do the things he's done is because he hasn't really been double teamed a lot. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, you got some other guys, Josh Ross from the linebacker group, and the other guys on defensive line have been eating up some of the blockers, so they haven't really been able to get an extra blocker out there on Aiden Hutchinson. So they are doing their, again, unsung heroes. They're doing their job. They're doing it well. They've been pretty good against the run game. I would like to see them get a little bit better. Sometimes they give up a few yards to the run game because at the point of attack they don't hold their ground or push the offensive line back a little bit, and they need to do a little bit better job of getting off the block when the running back comes to them. You know, you got to shove that offensive lineman off you and make the play. So improve that a little bit, but for the most part, unsung heroes, it's been quiet from the rest of the defensive linemen, but they are doing their job. I don't think anybody's going to question that. I would just like to see maybe one or two guys step up and prove that they can be a playmaker as well. I think there's plenty of opportunity, especially as more and more attention gets put on Aiden Hutchinson. Somebody else needs to step up, and there will be plenty of opportunity to do that. So hopefully we see somebody step up and be that guy. Josh Ross and the linebacker core has been phenomenal in my opinion this year, even better than I thought he would be, especially in the pass rush. His blitzing has been really solid. The other linebackers, again, have just been quiet and doing their jobs. So I can't really ask them to do more than they're doing. I just want to see more guys step up and throw their name in the hat of the playmaker, you know. Be a guy that gets a turnover. That's always huge. Safeties, same thing. I think the safeties have been really good. There's been plenty of times where, like, Daxton Hill's been brought down into the slot to cover one-on-one, and he's done the job. He's been winning that matchup, and that's always great. It adds some versatility to your defense. You know, if you got a safety that you really like, better than a nickel corner, then you can roll Dax Hill down into the nickel and roll in a safety, which has been a lot of what they've done. So pretty deep at the safety positions. The safeties have looked good. Corners, I think they're still building confidence. Like I touched on my post-game video against Northern Illinois. Mike McDonald's play calling has been pretty conservative with them, but I would like to see him be a bit more aggressive. Start to have that confidence to break on a ball. If you feel, you know, if you're in zone coverage and you're reading the quarterback's eyes and he's been looking your way the whole time, make a break on the ball. When he starts to wind up, you make a break to where, you know, the wide receiver is or where you think he's going to be, and just be a playmaker. Get an interception. Turnovers are huge in football. I touched on this in my Michigan State video as well. Check that out if you're interested. There's a lot of the same stuff for both teams, really. It's, you know, somebody step up, be a little more aggressive, create those turnovers. Those turnovers are powerful in football, and you want to get as many of those as you can. And Mike McDonald's done a pretty good job of having safety leverage over the top and mixing up those coverages. So, you know, if you're a corner, you know, Vincent Gray, Jermon Green, if you're sitting on a wide receiver and you know you have safety coverage over the top, trust that safety is going to be there if you are extra aggressive but maybe time things wrong or read the route wrong. You know, if you get beat, trust that your guy on the back end is going to have your back. I personally think it is worth trying to get that turnover and giving up a few yards than it is to let that guy catch the ball and get those yards anyways. So be aggressive. Try to create those turnovers and have faith that the guy in the back end will get the tackle and you can reset on the next down and try again. That's it. That's what I want to see out of the defensive unit. Coaching, play calling, and otherwise, defense looks great. I've said before, and I'll say it again, I think Mike McDonald's done a really, really good job, this being his first year as a play caller and defensive coordinator. I think he's done phenomenal. I really like his play calling so far. He's been unpredictable. He's changing up his coverages. I just, you know, like I touched on with the corners, maybe start to get a little bit more aggressive. I think both McDonald and the corners are building confidence in each other as much as in themselves. And as that relationship continues to grow and strengthen, you could see them get more aggressive, and I hope they do. Offense. The run. It's kind of weird because the run play calling has been really good. There's been counters. You know, you're mixing in your backs. There's counters. There's dives. There's stretch plays. It's been varied. And very good, honestly, so far. For as one-dimensional as they've been, being able to mix up different runs has been really good. You know, sometimes they're in shotgun, sometimes pistol. And so that's been really good. My issue is with the passing attack, or lack thereof, and the scheme. And the play calling. It's not been good. I want to see that get better. It's got to improve. As much as I want to say McNamara and the wide receivers have underachieved, you have to put them into positions to make plays. And I don't feel like that's happening right now. I don't care for the route combinations that I'm seeing on the passing plays. It feels like an offense from the 90s. You know, get a little more modern. Include some screen passes. Include some rub routes. Some air raid concepts. You know, all of those things that I'd like to see are just, they seem to be non-existent right now. I hope that's because we haven't seen enough of the passing game. But based on what I've seen so far, I'm not a fan. Play action. I'm going to continue to harp on it. Play action, please. Lots of play action. If you're going to run this much, you should be using play action just as much when you go to your passing game. Every now and then, maybe a straight drop back, but 80% of the time should be a play action. And vary that play action look. Right now, it's just been a lot of play action, drag a tight end. Why don't you try play action, hit a post, play action, streak, you know, play action flood, where you got multiple guys going out to one side of the field and multiple options. So vary that a little bit more. I need to see more out of that. Right now, it is a concern of mine. If it continues to be an issue, I do not feel good about Michigan moving forward. And like I said, you know, after this game, you got Wisconsin, who's got the best rush defense in the country. So we're really going to find out some things about Michigan in that one. So I will touch on that more next week. I don't want to get into it too much, but I do want to raise a concern about the passing game. And I think it's safe to say if the passing game doesn't show anything against Rutgers, it may be time to raise an alarm. I am perfectly content to run the football and win games, but I strongly believe that at some point during the Big Ten schedule, you're going to run into somebody that stops your run game. And then do you have the right schemes and plays to and play calls to beat them still? And right now, I haven't seen it. And if they struggle and look bad against Rutgers, then I'm going to have to start to raise my concern level a little bit more even. So we'll see how things go. That's my take on things and what I want to see out of Michigan. I am going to predict Michigan to win by 14 and to rush over 300 yards as a team again. I don't think Rutgers is good enough to completely stop their run game. I feel like that this Rutgers unit isn't as good as the Washington unit, and Washington struggled to shut them down. So I don't think Rutgers will be able to stop the rushing attack either. And so I expect Michigan to pound the football and win by 14. Those are my predictions. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell. And let's enjoy this. Let's just enjoy another weekend of college football. Remember, all love, all the time. Peace.